Hi, guys. First, let me say happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there that step up and take care of your family. God bless you. We so appreciate you. I'm blessed to have had a great father that passed away when I was very young, and I'm so grateful to have a great husband who's a great father, Otis Pickett. I just honor him today and just thank God for all of you. Just wanted to drop in and share a word actually about men, and the title that I gave is that every boyfriend is not ready to be a husband or a father. Every boyfriend. As a matter of fact, many of them do not qualify. And I want to talk about it a little bit, and it was kind of sparked from a message today that my husband gave about 5 stages of manhood. Thought it was very powerful. I encourage you to go back and listen to it in our service. But I just want to pull out a few things that were really key for me, and key for me when I was dating, key for me, as you know, when Ash got married a few months ago, and as she was preparing, these were some things that I also shared with her, and even with her at that time boyfriend, who became fiance, who is now her husband. So let me first start off by saying, you know, when God created us in Genesis chapter 1, he talks about he blessed us. And the Bible says he blessed man, male and female. And I think it's important for us to recognize that there's a stage you have to go through to go from a male to a husband. There's a stage you have to go from a female to a wife. It's not automatic. There's growing, there's transitioning, there are disciplines that have to be established, maturity, all kind of things that have to show up for a female to become a wife and for a male to become a husband and a father. And it's not just because they got older. It's not just because they dated. It's a change. It's a change in mindset. It's a change of responsibility. And I wanted to just kind of pause and talk about it a little bit. And I thought I'd bring this picture along. I didn't have a boy and a girl, a little small picture, but you'll get the point. First, let me start out by saying this, that every male, and I do want to say this, does not qualify to be a husband or a father automatically, just because they got older or just because they're dating. And so my husband mentioned these 5 stages that I thought were quite interesting, and I want to just bring them up real quick. 5 stages for manhood, okay? Number 1, they start out as a male. And I thought it was interesting that he said this, and you can all, I'm sure all of you can relate. They start out with a fertilizing instrument. I know y'all know what I mean. A fertilizing instrument. Let me just pause and say, none of us would be here without the fertilizing instrument. Okay, moving on. Hope y'all got that. Number 2, next stage after they are male, okay, is they are boys, okay? He defined boys as self-discovery. They're independent. They are selfish. But through a process of discipline, they will change. And so to be very honest, a boy and a girl are both in these same positions where we are trying to discover ourselves, but how many know it's all about us? We only care about us. We want what we want. And for boys in particular, it's all about them and what they want. That's why young girls and women in particular have to be very careful, because there's a few things that they just really want. And sometimes there's nothing else they want to give. They just want to get that. And y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, moving on. Number 3 is the stage of a man. And he defined a man as a planner, one that has a purpose in life. And when they become a man, they begin to find out the direction that they need to go in. And I want to encourage young ladies out there or women out there who are looking at a male, or used to be boy, because, you know, he may be older now. We don't call him a boy. But how many know we do say boyfriend? Why? Because they kind of in that boy stage, and they haven't quite moved over into the man stage and the others that we'll talk about in a moment. But how many know you have to decide, you know, am I looking at a boy here? Because a boy is not going to make a good husband. A boy is not ready to be a father. Let me go ahead and define a husband. Okay, this is one that is the head of his family. He's a leader. He's a provider. He's a worker. He's a giver. He's a covering. He plans for the future of his offspring. So how many know that just every boy that gets of age is not ready to take on the role of being a husband, okay? And then the fifth role, which my husband called the ultimate stage, is that of fatherhood. It's a leader. It's one that his family trusts in him. He is a source. He has built a legacy. In other words, he's someone that can be depended on, someone that we look to, someone that's going to help give direction, protection, and all of that. He really brought it home today when he was sharing it because, 2.5 months ago when Ashley got married, and we've all heard this term used, but maybe because, we thought it was just a ritual. But you all know I told you about how my husband teared up and cried and all that, which he had never done probably 2 times in our whole 39 years of marriage that I ever saw him cry, but he did. And I think it was because he realized, as I shared then, okay, so the enemy didn't want you all to hear this. Okay, he tried to cut us off, but we're going to finish this. But I was sharing about my husband teared up on the day that Ashley got married because I think he realized that he was transferring that role that he has walked in. He's still her father, but was no longer going to be the covering, no longer going to be the protector, the provider, the source, the one that she counted on the most in her life, that he was transferring it. And we all hear that term, who gives this woman to be married to this man? And, the father always says, or whoever's standing in, I do, and my wife or mother. My husband really got crossed up with all those words because he realized what that meant was he was transferring, I need you to hear me now, transferring that responsibility over to her then becoming husband. And I'll share this, and I recognize it as well. Because notice now that when you become a husband, you become a father, somebody you trust in, somebody you're depending on. And when I spoke at the wedding, at the reception, one thing that I said to Pat, my now son-in-law, is that I am so grateful for how he shared with me his dreams, his hopes for our daughter and what he wanted to help her to accomplish, how he recognized who she was, her value, her worth, all those things. And it really blessed me. And I shared at the reception, I said, what blesses me is to know that we're transferring her to someone that values her as we have valued her. I told him, I said, I have spent all my life and all of her life trying to ensure that she had a great future, that she had a good foundation, that her dreams came to pass, that she lived the blessed life, a life that I believe God had for her. And I said, and nothing blesses me more and gives me more peace to see that transferred to someone who cares about her, who will love her. Just so y'all know, one of the things I asked him when he came to talk to me, to ask for her hand in marriage, after he had spoken to her father, then he had a meeting with me, and he was about to leave, and I said, he said, are we good? And I said, yeah, let me just ask you one question. I said, can she trust you? And he turned around, he said, absolutely. Well, that's important. And I say that to say that this is the difference in going from these stages of just being a boyfriend to a husband and then to a father. It is a major step. And many boyfriends are not ready to take that responsibility on. And I want to say to young ladies, if you can't trust him, if he's not a source that's taking care of himself, he's not being responsible, he's not working, he's not protective, he doesn't care anything about, what happens with you, he's not ready to be a husband. And he certainly is not ready to be a father, because that takes on a whole different group of responsibilities, a whole different mindset. It is a dying to self. No more being independent, no more being selfish, no more about you. Now it's about your wife, it's about your family, it's about your children. Are you listening to me? Another key thing about transferring from that boyfriend role is that trust. And some of you maybe saw the little tape I put out yesterday. I didn't post it till late. Actually, I went live and I didn't do something right. I'm still learning all this. And so I didn't post it till late last night, where we were out on the lake. And I show you all a picture of my husband driving the boat. And let me just say something. He took a quick test, but he's not a boat driver. Let's be clear. My daughter Trace was the one, they got this boat for him for Father's Day and took him out. And so she was a driver, which I didn't really know she was going to be driving us. But she has passed her test and whatever, supposed to be ready. But anyway, she wanted to give her dad a chance to drive. He had to pass this test. He had to take it, and make sure he was able to do it. But how many know he was sharing that being out on that boat, on all of that water, and let me just say my husband cannot swim. But anyway, he was driving this boat, and he said it blessed him because we trusted him. And yes, we did. We trusted him and God to take care of us on this boat. But that means so much to them, and that is so important to a husband. That is so important to a father, to know that he is trusted, he's respected, he's honored. It meant everything. And so, yes, I was praying for him when we ran into a few little things, but he got us there safely and brought us back safely. But all of that is a part of that transfer from boyfriend to husband, then to father. I'll say this. I never would have married Otis Pickett had I not known or confident in my heart that I could trust him, that I could depend on him, that he would take care of me, take care of my children. I shared with you all the story. I had a boyfriend one time, and he quit his job. And I asked him when I found out he had quit his job, like, and if I was pregnant, would you still quit your job? And he said, yes. Well, how many know he was a boyfriend? He was not ready to be a husband. I needed somebody I could count on, depend on, and not have to wonder, look back, question whether he would be there to do what he was supposed to do when he was supposed to do it. Are you listening to me? Just one other thing I wanted to share. Pat, yesterday as we were all out on the boat sharing together, shared with us about an incident that happened on their honeymoon. Ashley was in the water and what all he did to protect her. And it was such a blessing to me yesterday as I watched him. And it was so obvious to me that he has moved from boyfriend, from fiance, to a real husband. I watched him as he watched my baby on the boat. And of course, I'm there, my husband is there. We all there trying to protect him. He was overprotective. He's like, no, baby, come back here. No, sweetheart, you back up. Don't be at the end of the boat. He was trying to help Tracy do something. And he was protecting Tracy, just showing me that he had taken on this husband role. And, as I met with his mom and dad today, I thanked his dad for being a great father as I wished him a happy Father's Day. And I thanked his mother many other times because I recognize what they have poured into him to make him this great young man that he has become, who now I see clearly operating in his role as a husband. And I'm confident is going to be a great father. And it honored me that they also thanked my husband and I in the same way for the daughter that we raised. So I just want to encourage young ladies in particular out there, be careful of the choices that you make. And when you see someone who's maybe a boyfriend and you're not confident that they will move to the next stage in their life of being a husband, of being a father, then just know they aren't quite ready. And that means God has somebody else for you. I pray that this blessed you. Don't forget to get a copy of this book. It will bless you. My husband and I, 39 years, have learned a lot. Married Life, a Married Life Centers. You can go to laurapickett.org, pick up a copy of it, as well as the challenge. The Get Overweight Challenge is still going on. I encourage you to take it. Seek the Lord as he does great things in your life. I love you so much for joining me, and happy Father's Day again to all you fathers. God bless you. Have a good one. See you next time.